Hi everyone, in today's video I want to show you how to use the Plaud app. There's a lot of videos on YouTube focused on reviewing the Plaud devices themselves, but very few that are actually just dedicated to the app. So that's what this video is about. I'm going to be talking you through how to process the recording and what you can do with it, what your various options are, what can you do for free, what do you have to pay for in terms of processing stuff. So let's dive in. So I've got a little fictional story that I asked ChatGPT to generate for me very kindly about someone going to a shop to purchase a Plaud Note Pro device. I'm going to read that into the Plaud Note Pro and we're going to import it into the Plaud app and then we'll go from there in terms of showing you what you can do with the app itself. Cool, so we have done our little recording. It's just a nice little story really, nothing too exciting, and we've imported that into the Plaud app. It's already ready to go because I've got the Plaud device next to me and the app open. So what we can do is click into the recording and then we can play it back like so. There's a few things to note here in terms of the controls you've got right out of the box. You've obviously got play, you've got 15 seconds backwards, 15 seconds forwards, and then this button here where it's got 1 times and the little star is quite an important one. You can do playback speed up to 2 times, which is really useful, and also you can even slow it down. And what I found is sometimes this clarify voice, if it's toggled on, it might cut your recording quite hard, so it can be worth turning that off. Often that sort of helps you hear the whole recording, because what that's actually doing is it's trying to enhance your voice and cut all the background noise out. So in some scenarios it's really useful, but if you're having issues with the sound of the recording and out of the app, that might be a good thing to try toggling off. So yeah, if we come out of there, what we've got is the ability to do a few things. So if we click on the 3 dots, we can move it to a folder. So I'm just going to click on that and click demo folder. If you press the little plus icon there, you can obviously create a new folder if you want. You've got a nice few color options, which is really useful, and also I like the fact you've got little icons that you can choose. There's loads of little icons, so if you're doing something on gardening, for instance, you can pick the flower and it changes the folder icon to a flower. So I'm just going to pop it in my plain demo folder for now and move it to that. And what that does there is if we click on the little arrows, it took me a while to realize this actually, so next to all files there's a little arrow there, a tiny little arrow. If you click on that, you can then see all your folders. If you just click view more, you can see all the folders that you've got, and of course you can create one. So what we need to do is just click demo, and now we can see our ungenerated audio recording in there, and it's nicely organized. So I do try and organize all my recordings because otherwise they just become unruly and you'll just forget where things are at. So it's a nice little structure. I would like it if they had a bit more features like tags and stuff. I don't think you can do tags in here or create subfolders and things at the moment, but hopefully those features will come along one day. But at the moment you can just allocate one folder to a recording, so you can't put it in multiple folders, you can only put it in one, but at least you've got that sort of option. So yeah, so we've got that, so we moved it to the folder. You can also obviously delete it there. So if we click on the share button, you've got a variety of really cool options here. You've got share link, so even though you haven't actually generated anything yet, you've just got the raw recording, you can share a link, click share link, and it will you can just share it to anywhere you want, send it via text message, so they can open it on their browser and they've got immediate access to it. So obviously you just got to be careful with that if you're sharing publicly, but I love the fact that you can do that. You've even got invite people via email addresses as well, which is really cool. And bear in mind we haven't even generated the transcript yet. So we click on the share again right out the box before we even do anything else in terms of processing a transcript. We can share the audio. So if I click on where it's got audio under export as file, and then there's a couple of options here. You can choose which format you want to export the audio to. So what you can do is export it out of Plaud completely. Plaud's not pinning you down to their app or anything like that. They're saying you can export it out and send it anywhere else you want for further processing or just storage, entirely up to you. But one thing I've noticed is if you do MP3, it's not quite as good quality as WAV. Obviously WAV is intended to be sort of uncompressed, and MP3 is compressed. So if you do click MP3, it does reduce the quality quite significantly in terms of listening to the audio. So if you want sort of clean audio that sounds really crisp and clear, then definitely select WAV to export. Even though it's a bigger size, it will sound better. So what we can then do is click export, and then it comes up with your share tray. You can choose Dropbox or files or anywhere you want to send it. So actually if we just have a look at MP3 there, so that WAV was 3 megabytes I saw. But if we do MP3, you can see that's 279 KB, so it's a significant loss of quality. So again, you just want to use WAV if you can, really, because I reckon they're putting some heavy compression on it in the MP3, probably something like 32 megabytes per second or something like that. So it's really useful. They allow you to export the audio, so you could send an exported audio file straight into your Notes app if you wanted to on an iPhone, and then just do a free transcript there. But once you get a Plaud, really you'll fall in love with keeping it all in there, because there's a lot of AI features, which I'll show you in a second, which enable you to really sort of make use of it all. So what we can do as well is we can click this little trim button with the little star. So if we click Smart Clip, what it does is it will see if there's any blank spaces. So if you've done like a long recording and you've not talked for some of it, it's not the end of the world. You can hit this button and it will remove all the blank spaces for you, and then it will cut it right down so you're not sort of burning through minutes unnecessarily. So you click continue and then it does it. I haven't got any gaps in this recording, so I can't show you. So what I can do is trim the audio. You've got the blue bar here to sort of play back stuff. I find it a bit confusing as to how you have to actually manually click the blue bar, but that can scrub through it and you can play the bit you want. But yeah, the orange bit is the bit that you use to trim. So once you've found the bit that you want to trim, you just click trim, and then it will get rid of everything else that you don't want, and it tells you how many seconds or minutes are left. So you have to click save as. It's not a destructive process, you're not going to lose the original things. And then you click save as, and then like you call it whatever you want. Yep. So what it does, which I find a bit weird, is it puts it behind the original. So you can see there it's on my screen with the word copy there, so that's the shortened version of it. So you can see that it hasn't completely overridden your original recording. We've still got our lovely original recording, which is 1 minute and 33 seconds long, and then we've got the shortened version, which is 47 seconds long there. So if we go back into the original one, you can also delete bits as well, so we can delete anything you want there. And then save as. So we've now lost 1 minute 13 seconds, so I'm going to cancel that, exit without saving. So we've still got it all there, and again that would have created, it's forcing you to create a new file, which is really good. Now I want to just show you what you can do in terms of generating a file. So one thing that I really want to show you, and because I've seen a lot of people have issues with this, there's a Facebook community for Plaud and also a Plaud Note Pro sort of Facebook group, which I encourage you to join if you've got any of those. But one thing that comes up time and time again on those communities is the fact that it often generates in Welsh for some reason, for whatever reason it does. Now I haven't had that problem because I discovered fairly early on a solution to that. If we come out of there and then we click on the person up the top right, and then if you go to preferences, and then often this transcription language part will be set to auto, and I believe that is the main problem really. So if you click on that, it was set to that, but you don't want it as that. You want it set to English UK if you're in the UK. Of course, you've got other languages there. There's plenty of languages. Hopefully it's got your one. So just choose your language and make sure it's set to that, and then it shouldn't come out in the wrong language, particularly in Welsh or what have you, because if it does do that, unfortunately you have to burn through some more minutes to get it right again. But anyway, if that's set to English UK, as far as I know, it shouldn't generate in the wrong language. So before we generate, I wanted to show you that quick tip. So let's go back, and then we find our recording, and then we click the generate button. Now, a lot of people ask how much recording can you do without it burning through minutes, and the answer is you can do as much recording as you want. You can sync it to the Plaud cloud, you can sync it to your app, and it doesn't burn through any minutes at all, which is really useful if you've just done a recording. So at the moment we haven't burnt through any minutes. We can delete that if we want. We don't have to generate it. We won't burn through our minutes. So actually, if I just show you my minutes here, so mine's a bit confusing because I've been doing sort of top up stuff, but yeah, you get 300 minutes a month, and then you get you can buy top up minutes which don't cost very much, or you can choose a plan if you prefer. So you can see there mine's 493 minutes left, so that's what I've got before I generate this file. So what we're going to do is click generate, and you auto generate usually does a great job. Now auto generate, if you haven't sorted out that language problem, it might well generate in Welsh, but if you didn't, a workaround some people find is if you click on custom generation, you can then choose the audio language there. But I think just go into preferences and sort the problem out at the source, and you'll be fine. So yeah, you click generate, and then we go with auto generation for now, which is great. We just give it a couple of minutes. It does its thing. Well, the great thing about this is you can come out the app and it will notify you. You don't have to stay on the app as well, which is really useful. You can just go and carry on doing whatever you want to do. I've done that time and time again, and it's not been an issue in terms of generating the minutes. And also that applies when it syncs from your device to the app. You can leave it to transfer and it will do it in the background, and it doesn't. I've not found that it's ruined the recording and deleted it or anything crazy like that. So you can go out and do what you want to do in other apps and stuff, and it will just notify you when the transfer is complete. So just give it a second, talk among yourselves. Cool, excellent. It's now generated everything. Now, if we, first of all, before we do anything else, if we come out of there and go back to our minutes, you can see there that it's used a minute worth of transcript. Now, it is useful to know that you can see your usage history as well. So if you are concerned it's used too much, you can just sort of go through and see what it's used it on. In fact, it's just got the whole history there, which is a really nice feature, because then you sort of know what the score is. So yeah, it's only used 1 minute there, so we're on 492 now. So we can click on that. We've got a nice little summary that is done. And what you can do, there's a few things you can now do. You've also got the transcript, I should say, the full transcript. So it usually does a very good job at the transcript. I've not found major issues. Sometimes if you're a bit muffled in the way you talk and stuff, it can be a bit weird. The transcript in places it might have made mistakes. Speaker sort of stuff is fairly hit and miss. So if I tell it it's John, it usually... click save. I would say it's not clever enough to pick up who is speaking without fail each time. So by now it should know that's my voice, but for whatever reason it hasn't assigned it. So the speaker labeling is a bit weird. Sometimes I find that when I'm speaking it thinks it's my wife, and it's a bit random at the moment in terms of the way it labels speakers. But you do have that sort of manual feature there where you can select stuff. I do like the fact you can bounce between, it sort of divides it up in sections as well. So yeah, you can skim down to different bits, and wherever you are, whatever block you're on, it will play that bit for you as well, which is really nice. So yeah, we got the transcript there. We can enhance speech, we can do all the stuff there. But yeah, if we go to notes, it will give us a nice little summary as to what the recording was about, which is really cool, which is obviously what we want. So the great thing here is now we've created our transcript, we can now create as many notes as we want. So if we click that little plus button, now one thing I've done is created my own templates. Actually, I'm going to use one of my own templates. There's hundreds of templates in here. Well, I'd say hundreds, I've not counted, but it certainly seems like a lot under Discover. So there's loads here. You can just scroll through and just see different types of things. So you've got real estate meeting records, court reporter, IT engineering. It depends what you're after really, but personally I like to sort of create my own ones and go from there. So I've created this nice little summary which is has a to-do list associated with it, and what I'm going to do now is click generate note. Now when I first got this, I was a bit worried that this process, because it's saying generate, is going to burn through more minutes, but I found actually it hasn't burnt through any more minutes at all. So if you remember, once I generated the transcript, we were on 492 in terms of our minute quota. So now we've got a little bullet point list as to what happened. So John visited a tech shop to test and choose a recording device, key benefits, etc. Then we've got task lists, unbox the Plaud note, all that stuff. So it's really quite powerful in terms of stuff you can do. And if we now go out of there completely and we go to the transcript quota or whatever it's called, you can see there it's still got 492 minutes, and the usage history will confirm that it was just the 1 minute 32 seconds that was burnt through. So the rule of thumb is once you've created a transcript, you can create as many notes as you want without it being a problem and without it burning through your meeting minutes, which I think is just brilliant really. I thought it was going to, every time you click generate on a template, I thought, every time you do this, it's going to burn through your minutes, which I would sort of half, expect in a way. It's just great that basically they offer that for free. So the next point is what you can actually do in terms of AI. Now, what I love about this whole app is the fact you've got this ask Plaud about this note. So we click down there, you see you've got sort of things there that you can ask it if you want, just general stuff. But if I just say what devices were discussed in the recording, so this is only accessing that recording. Now you've got deep thinking there, which really goes to town in terms of what answers are coming back, which I just keep on actually. But if we try toggling it off now and just see what happens. So it's scanning the transcript, it's coming up with an answer, and the Plaud Note Pro and the standard Plaud Note were discussed. So that's the right answer. Now obviously that's a very simple question, but I was in a meeting a few weeks ago where unfortunately we were in a funeral director meeting where my mother-in-law had died, and I couldn't remember key details of certain things, and I typed it into some questions into here and it comes back with all the answers, what was exactly said. You can even create infographics as well, which we might try in a second. But one of the most powerful things is, well, obviously it's a very, very powerful tool, this, and particularly if you've got deep thinking on, it gives you a really nice answer. But obviously we just had a simple answer there for speed. So now we've got our answer, what you can do is a few things. So we click this little pencil button. You can even change the response if you really wanted to, for whatever reason. And then you can copy it to your clipboard. You can paste that into your notes app and stuff. And if we click on the three dots, you can share it out to anywhere. So if we try that, you can share it across any platform or text or anything. You can add it to a particular note. So it added it to the current note we were in, and then if we go back here, it's still got the chat history there, which is useful. And then we click on the three dots, and then we can ask it to expand or shorten the answer. We can tell whether it's helpful or not. But the most important thing that I think on this icon, this little book icon with the plus symbol on the far right, this is the most, the best feature in my opinion, is you can create a note from it. So if there's a really useful answer that's come back, you can see that there's a dedicated tab with that with that sort of response there, which is really useful. So for instance, let's just generate an infographic on it. Let's do that and see what happens there. Now, because it's quite a simple story, it might be a bit of a basic infographic, but usually the infographics come out really well, and they're well worth playing with. As it stands, you only get 10 infographics a day, I believe, but as long as you're not hammering out loads of infographics, then you should be fine. So it's generated a nice infographic. So what we can then do is obviously download it. We can redo it if we want. We can, thumbs up, thumbs down. We can press our little book with the plus icon. So what it's done is created a new tab, and it's given us the infographic. So it does quite a good job there. So it's sort of done a little roadmap with some text there and icons as to what's happened. It's really quite well done, and then of course you can download it from there. So that's the main things. But once you come out of all the files, what I have found is that if you want to search across all files, you can do that with the magnifying glass, and you type in anything there, but usually I have to press the little star thing to get the AI to come back. So you could ask it, when did I go to the shop to look at the doors? And then deep thinking again, you just hit the little brain and it turns on, but we won't use that today. But I absolutely love deep thinking, I have to say. But you can see it all. It comes up with a load of text as to what it's thinking through and all the things it needs to respond. So it's saying there that I went today according to an audio segment recorded on that date, which summarises your visit. So the great thing about this is if you're if you've done a global search across all your recordings, it will scan all your recordings and all the transcripts that you generated anyway, and it will tell you what your answer is. But once you get your answer like we've got here, the problem is you can only copy it, or you can only share it and that type of thing. There's no chat history, so as soon as we click X, that chat is now gone and I've lost that answer. So if we click back on to ask anything, the whole question and response has gone, which I think is a bit of a shame. I wish there was a bit of a chat history, like a UI, a bit like ChatGPT's got with chat history, so you can see everything there. But unfortunately it's not there yet, but hopefully it will get there, and they will release that feature. But I absolutely love the fact you can just literally ask it anything across all your recordings. I would love a microphone in there, I think, like where you can sort of talk to it, a bit like ChatGPT offers, and it responds with a voice. One thing I really wish they would have is the ability for your notes to be read out with an AI voice. I just like to listen to lots of text as opposed to reading it. So my preference would be if I could hit play and have an AI generated voice just read out whatever the note was. Now obviously I'm being a bit lazy there really, but still I think that would be a great feature to have eventually. And lastly, I just want to talk to you about the minutes, so the plans. Now I've had this a couple of months now, and I'm just on the free plan, and you can see that it says there starter plan 300 minutes a month, which I've already used. Now a lot of people are upgrading to unlimited, or they're sort of going in straight into a subscription. I found that I've not needed to do that, and all I need to do is just top up my minutes. So you can see there that's the price in the UK at the moment in terms of minutes. I love the 600 minutes for $12.99. I think that's really great value. So every time I need more minutes, I just top up with that. I just hit that, and then it does Apple Pay, and I double tap. I've got more minutes added to my plan there. So I find that's the most effective way. Now I did see on their plan section of their website that when you're only on the free plan, they might force you to go on to a subscription. I'm still waiting for that to happen. Like I thought a 30-day trial period might occur, but it doesn't seem to have sort of limited me to 30 days. I'm not sure why. So I've gone over 30 days. I think I'm over 60 days now. And it's still working without me having to sort of subscribe to a lengthy plan and spend loads of money. So all I'm doing is just topping up my minutes, which I think is really cool. If you have been forced to go onto a subscription and it's sort of locked down some of the AI features because you're only on the free plan, then please do drop me a comment below, because I'm not aware. Well, it's just not happened to me yet. So that'd be interesting to know though if it has happened to you. Okay, thanks ever so much for watching, guys. Hopefully this video has just helped you sort of understand all the ins and outs of the Plaud app itself. If you do have any questions or want to know more about a certain part of the app, I want to maybe do a few more videos on this. So do let me know any video ideas you have, particularly on the Plaud app itself. But if you do have any questions on using the Plaud Note Pro itself, then please do let me know. This is the only one device I have. I'm tempted to buy the pin, by the way, but haven't made the leap yet. Okay, thanks ever so much for watching, guys. Take care. Remember to like and subscribe. You guys are amazing. Bye for now.
Chance